Have you checked out all the new handicappers at Wagertalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at Wagertalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to wagertalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.
Happy Thursday, guys. Welcome to Puck Time on Wagertalk TV. I am Carmine Bianco. Andrew has the day off. He went to watch the Team Canada game last night. They absolutely destroyed Team Germany, and he's got an early game today as they take on Austria. They're also favored by 8.5 goals. You might want to lay the number there because Australia's lost 9-0 or 9-0 and 11-0 in their two games thus far, so it could be another beating at the hands of Bedard and the Canadians. That guy is a hot commodity right now, but filling in, Bryan in his regular spot. And then I thought I need some shampoo tips. So who better to bring in but another guy with a beautiful head of hair, Andy Lang, the prop man himself. Boys, welcome to the show.
Good to be here.
All right. Nobody says anything. All right. It's just me.
What am I doing here? Is this the right show? Is this the NBA show?
This is, yes. Take the Raptors +3. I don't know who they're playing, but or if they're even playing. But,
here, okay.
Brian, I'm going to start with you first. Listen, let me throw a scenario at you, and I'm looking at yesterday's games. It's sort of looking at games you don't want to look to. I released like 3 prop plays. Shots on goal plays, and Andy's going to have some opinions on those, but winning 2 out of 3. And then I released 2 plays that you give me the same scenarios today, tomorrow, the next 100 times, and I will play these plays the next 100 times. If someone told you you can have the Pittsburgh Penguins in regulation time and they're going to score the first 4 goals of the game and be up 4-0, would you take that bet? And then secondly, if someone told you, I'm going to give you the Vegas Golden Knights in regulation, and they're going to have 55 some odd shots on goal. 55 shots on goal. Would you take those 2 bets and play them?
Well, ahead of time, yes. But after I get the Vegas dominated that game. So they were the right side in that game. I'm not so sure that Pittsburgh was, because they took that 4-0 lead, and then the other team overall for the shots on goal and everything, the other team was better, much better. I'm just real concerned about Pittsburgh. That's just twice in a row that they've fallen apart like this. But the Vegas game, actually, when Anaheim scored the first goal, and I didn't have anything in the NHL last night, I played Vegas at +116. To win the game, and I thought it was in pretty good shape. But they too many injuries on that team right now.
Yeah, it's and they played well. And you know, the funny thing is that maybe he watched the show. I talked about John Gibson and the fact that he was like 5-14-1 this season. He's having a horrendous season thus far, and then Perez talks about how he doesn't want to come to Canada, and why doesn't he want to come to Canada? And so Gibson still has 4 years on his contract, and he probably wants to be part of that rebuilding process. Who knows? We'll see as the trade deadline approaches if he's willing to go elsewhere. But yeah, I couldn't believe it. I knew we were going to see some high shots on goal totals. Or some shots on goal from Vegas, which is why I talked about taking some of these shot props against the Anaheim Ducks, because if they're consistently allowing, and Andy, this is where you can jump in, when a team consistently allows 40-plus shots on goal, if you can find, because I have that juice tolerance with some of these plays, if you can find these over 2.5s at low juice or even money, you've got to be taking them. If you take 3 in a game, you have to figure the 2 of 3 are likely to hit.
Yeah, and you also got to look at your goalie saves when they're just getting peppered with these shots, and we a lot of times just go right to the shooters, and we say, oh, look at the over 2.5, and well, if we like just about every shooter to be firing away at the goal, you've got to look at some of these goalies whose defense just allows a lot of shots on goal. So even if these goalies allow 4 or 5 shots to get by them, they still end up making 35 saves, and it ends up going over their total. So we concentrate on the shots on goal, I think, the most as far as our props. Don't ignore the goalie props, and don't ignore some of the points, which I've found success with. And that's actually kind of what I'm focusing on today's show. I want to go over some points to have a point and to not have a point when you have these teams that are firing away. There's tons of opportunities with all these props. So excited. If you got a good read on a game and the game script goes how you think it will, props, you can hit 3, 4, 5 even in one game on them. So a lot of value in the props world in NHL.
Yeah, and speaking of good reads, you've had a good read. It's been a while since you've been on the show, but we brought you in towards the tail end of last season and then in the playoffs, and you are absolutely steaming with the prop bets. You're winning at an unbelievable clip, and I'm like, I don't remember getting any text messages from this guy with these plays. I need to get his all access or something, but you will be on the show more often than not. We'll bring you in. Our Friday slots are it's usually just Andrew and I, and so we'll get you on more times because we need to get some winners out to our Puck Time community out there. We have a great community here, Andy. I think it's one of the best, if not the best, of all the shows. These guys are always sharing information in our chat and then in the comment section afterwards. All right, guys. So 4 games on tap today. We're going to go with Tampa, New York Rangers, Dallas, Minnesota, Toronto, Arizona, and then we're going to close it off with Colorado and the LA Kings. We're also going to have that best bet segment. And during this show, we are going to have the banana in the tailpipe segment, 2-0 thus far with the banana in the tailpipe. And let's see if we can make it 3-0. And then I've got Bryan, who has a bit of a rebuttal possibly on this banana in the tailpipe, or wants to discuss it. So we will talk about that. But let's kick it off. Rangers and Tampa Bay. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Tampa Bay minus 130. The Rangers plus 110. The total here is at 6, shaded a little bit to the over at minus 115. Bryan, I'm going to go to you. Second of a back-to-back for Tampa. A pretty easy one for them last night against the toothless Montreal Canadiens. Give me your thoughts on this game.
Well, first of all, you talked about bringing Andy on Fridays. I'm wholeheartedly think he should be on Wednesdays.
I think we'd be good with that as well, too. And you can take.
There's only one person that doesn't think he should be on Wednesday. President, I just joking back and forth. I prefer the Tampa Bay side. I think there's some value here on Tampa Bay. The line's cheap. It's been bet down. Obviously, that's because of, I guess, they've come out with the backup probably going to be in goal, I'm assuming, in that regard. But when you take a look at the December numbers for the Rangers, they're one of the most overrated teams in the league. You take a look at their goals plus or minus per 65 on 5. They're up 1.31. Excellent job. Problem is, if you take a look at their expected goals, they're down 0.25. They've been very fortunate in this month. And when you take a look at what they've done as of late, I mean, they're starting to catch up to them a little bit. They lose to Pittsburgh, and then they get shut out for Washington the last game. I think that was a game we went head-to-head on. But so it's getting to be where they're a little bit overrated. And Tampa Bay is a team that I'm always looking to play on if they play at home. They just played last night against Montreal, as you pointed out. So it is the second of a back-to-back here. But I like what they have done. If you take a look at what they've done in the month of December, they also have been excellent in goals plus or minus a 60 at 1.12 on 5-on-5. But yet the expected goals are at plus 0.53. So even though they're slightly outperforming their expected goals, it's so much better than what New York has done and the line's pretty cheap here. I like Tampa here. I don't know if it'll make my card. I'm going to look at it a little bit more, read a little bit more to make sure who's going to play. But I prefer that side in this game.
All right, Bryan Leonard of Wagertalk.com. Guys, Bryan has a 5% NHL play up tonight at Wagertalk, and you can get $10 off that. Use the puck time code 10NHL. 10NHL will get you $10 off the cost of Bryan's NHL play. And Bryan, quickly, because I know I've lost it in the chat, your record with these 5% plays is phenomenal. What is the actual number?
31-15, the 5 years I've been doing it. So I don't have a lot of them. In fact, this is my first 5% anything in like 18 days. So I really like this play. Passed yesterday in hockey. Didn't like anything, but today I do like that one. And there's a couple other games I may add to that card. But yeah, I've been very good on the big plays. 5% have been very good. 4% have been very good. And I'm looking to win another one tonight.
Let's do it. 10 NHL. 10 NHL will get you $10 off that play. Andy, I'm going to give you the next one on this game. Tampa, New York Rangers. Give me your thoughts on this game. It's looking right now like it's Brian Elliott and Igor Shesterkin as the starters in this one. Do shot props or anything come into that? How are you looking at this game?
Yeah, Shesterkin all over the board with his saves prop. I don't find any value in anything. I mean, one game he had like 35, and the other before he had like 18. So I'm looking at a point prop here, and actually this kind of opens it up for a little bit of discussion. I'd love your guys' thought on this. So the Rangers have given up 3 or more goals in 3 straight. The Lightning have scored 4 or more goals in 7 out of 8 games. And I will tell you, Carmen and Bryan, one thing that I try and do is always try and evolve with these markets. These markets are constantly changing. And one of the things that I have really changed over the last couple of years is my juice tolerance. I handicap several sports like Formula One and UFC where you just have to lay juice sometimes. And I've really opened up my opinion of that. I used to never play props or anything that was, minus 130 or more. I've experimented with other sports, and I see profits coming in. At the end of the day, our goal is to add money to the bankroll. And so I'm looking at Steven Stamkos to have a point. So he's minus 186 on various sports books. I think most people would just bypass that and say, no shot. No way I'm laying that. He's at a point in 17 out of 19 games. Who cares if it's minus 180? You don't have to go big on these props that are, really juicy. You can just put 1% of your bankroll or, 1.5% of your bankroll. But when I have a guy like Stamkos that is just consistently scoring point after point, and he's got a good matchup, and the team as a whole is putting a lot of goals in the net, they're putting a lot of shots on goal, I see value in it. Most people go, and I was one of them. I would fly past anything that was minus 180, but I'm looking at this and I'm going, oh my gosh, if I've played this in 10, the last 10 games, doesn't matter what the juice is. I'm going to sprinkle it again. You don't have to go crazy on these, but I look at these as just really nice little additions onto the bankroll. And it's something that I've changed over the last year. It was very profitable. You guys know I do golf. I really opened up my mind to laying juice in some of these plays that seem very obvious and easy hit. They've been very profitable. So I will lay the minus 180 on Stamkos to have a point. It's an adjustment I've made in the props. So I'd love to get your guys' thoughts if you disagree or agree with this strategy.
All right. I like the shot props, and Joe Ranieri and I, during the New York Rangers run to the Stanley Cup 2 years ago, were absolutely killing those plus money point props. So we're going to, anything that builds the bankroll, I'm always good for. Andy, I didn't give you guys my opinion on that this game, and you're going to get it now because this is the banana in the tailpipe game. And I'm going to make this easy, guys. I'm going to do some bullet points. Look, Tampa's coming off a super easy win last night. Literally, it's kind of like the Harlem Globetrotters playing the Washington Generals. It was an easy one, 4-1, never in doubt. 5 straight wins at home for Tampa Bay. Elliott in goal, perfect 5-0 at home. Rangers couldn't score in their last game. Sure, they won 8 of their previous 9 games, and Shesterkin's in goal tonight, but he's been a mediocre 9-1-1 on the road this year with a 2.08 goals against average and a 9.29 save percentage. Books are being super nice to us, guys. They're giving us Tampa Bay at -130. It's almost like Christmas time all over again. But my wife says I need to eat more fruits, and that brings me to the New York Rangers at +110. It is the banana in the tailpipe. We are putting it in there, and we are hoping that we get the money. New York Rangers +110 as your banana in the tailpipe game tonight.
I would like to respond to that on two forums. First of all, I totally agree with Andy when it comes to playing bigger lines. Good thing Andy's on with me and not Buster, because Buster's the opposite. Buster won't lay any type of juice, but you find this all the time. People will say, well, I'll play this number. You're just looking to play. If something is plus EV, you want to play it. So if, like a couple days ago, Carolina was a $4 favorite. My number said play I'm not going to give it to clients, but and they win that game 3-0. It was so easy. It's going to happen in the long run. You're going to win doing it. You're going to find games that you lose the big numbers in, but in the long run, you're looking to make a profit, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I totally agree with Andy. Second thing, the banana in the tailpipe thing. This must be Andy, you're Canadian. Do you know what banana in the tailpipe is?
No, I don't. But I'm just glad that Carmine's wife told him to eat fruit as opposed to anything else. There could have been a lot of things she told him to eat.
He puts a banana on a steak now.
Thank God it was fruit.
Well, my question is, in the United States, nobody knows what banana in the tailpipe is from the people I've talked to. It's potato in the tailpipe.
I was going to say potato.
If you look at your banana, yes. There is room there between the banana and the tailpipe. That's not going to get it done. You have to take an actual potato and shove it in the tailpipe, like the Americans do, to get what you want. So this banana thing, I don't know where the hell you got that from.
It's quite easy. Eddie Murphy. Have you not watched the Eddie Murphy movie where he literally orders from room service because he's being followed by the police in California? He orders 2 bananas, and he sneaks behind the undercover detectives who are supposed to be following him and sticks the banana in the tailpipe.
That's California. You guys not watched that California is not part of the United States.
All right. Come on. That's where the banana in the tailpipe comes from. Even Johnny Detroit knows this. And I think it's because Eddie Murphy in that. He
was from Detroit, yeah.
He was from Detroit. Dan, what was the name of our producer? What was the name of that movie again with Eddie Murphy? No, Not Coming to America. Not Coming to America. So anyways, with that said, guys, let's get on to the second game on the card. Dallas and Minnesota. Let's look at the prices on this one. What's that? Beverly Hills Cop. Minnesota -120. Dallas even money. The total's at 6 in this one. Andy, I'm going to go to you first on this one.
Yeah, so looking at I was kind of focusing on the Minnesota Wild in this one. I like what they've been doing, just kind of defensively. Outside of the San Jose game on the 22nd, they gave up 5 goals and they lost there. They've been on a really, really nice run. They won 7 games. They've only allowed 7 goals total in those 7 games. So if I'm a believer in the Minnesota Wild defense on holding opponents to goals, I'm going to go to the other team, and I'm going to look to Jamie Benn to not have a point. He's had a point in 6 straight games, and that is by far his biggest streak of the season. Before the streak, he had gone 5 out of 6 games without a point, and this streak is very unlike him. He never had a point streak this long this year or last year. We're going to see some regression from him. He's normally pretty sporadic with his points. When you look at his points total, majority of his points have come in the second half of the season so far. So I'm just a believer in the Wild defense right now, and you're getting a really good price on him to break this streak tonight. When we see these streaks that are unrealistic and we see regression coming, I like to try and get out ahead of it. So when you're playing points props, don't forget to look at to not have a point. When we're looking at shots on goal props, don't forget to take a look at the unders. A lot of times these prices are good to are good to take the unders. You can get a lot of plus money on them. So I'm just going to support the Minnesota Wild defense in this one.
All right, and I'll tweet out to Ben not to play tonight because you said he's not going to score any points, so why should he even play? Take the night off. Bryan, I'm going to give you the next thoughts on. I'm going to give you the thoughts on the next one. Listen, these are the types of games when I look at these, Bryan, is where I wish I was getting a little bit more plus money with Dallas because I like Dallas. Minnesota, I get Minnesota 9-1. Their last 10 at home, they've won 7 of their last 8 games. But sometimes I look at that strength of schedule, and the Ducks, the Sens, the Blackhawks, the Red Wings, San Jose mixed into those last 8 games that they played. And Dallas is playing some very good hockey right now. 4-0-1, their last 5 on the road. 7-2-1, their last 10 overall. And Ottinger's playing well. They're doing it with defense. Sometimes those are the teams that can break streaks that teams like Minnesota are on. A team that can come in, play a perfect defensive road game, and steal the points. Is that possible tonight? Give me your thoughts.
One final comment about the banana in the tailpipe. California is a very healthy state. They don't even know what potatoes are there. That's why you got your banana in the tailpipe there. I'm from Cleveland. Marco's from Pittsburgh. They're all fat. We all eat potatoes all the time. Ask the Irishman. Eat the potatoes. Anyway, we're going to get to this game. And I agree with a lot of what Andy said about Minnesota. This is a team playing very well. You take a look at the goals plus or minus per 60 for the month of December. They're at 0.96, excellent number. Problem is they're playing a little bit over their head when you take a look at the expected goals. Expected goals 0.45, still very good. So they're playing very well. Minnesota's playing very well. But you look at Dallas, their expected goals are plus 0.62, even better than Minnesota's. And yet their goals plus minus per 65 on 5 is minus 0.1. So they've been unlucky. And I think the line tells you a little bit here about what the right side is. You're looking at a Minnesota team who's playing very hot right now. They're playing at home. The line up at 125. I see 125 left on the card right now. All the other lines are lower. That means the money's coming in on Dallas. And I agree. Dallas is the team right here. It wouldn't surprise me if this is a lower scoring game also. I think you hit the nail on the head there with the analogy of a team coming in playing great defense, and Dallas can match this team with defense. So I'm leaning with Dallas here, but I wish we got a little bit better number on it, but that would be the way that I would look in this one.
All right, Bryan, Leonard at Wagertalk, and yeah, the better number was I think available on the opener, but I think it was only like plus 105 or so, and then I quickly got down to like even money. So that you can look at it both ways. If you like the game, you're just going to take the game, but you always want some value and getting some plus money, especially against a red hot Minnesota Wild team. All right, guys, the Toronto Maple Leafs are up next. They're in Arizona. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. Once our Coming to America producer gets it up there. The Leafs minus 300, Arizona plus 240. The total here, 6 minus 120 to the over. And Bryan, I'm going to go right back to you. Listen, this is a big line, and I get it. Toronto's playing phenomenal hockey right now, but there is a team. If there's a team that's been that bee in their bonnet, whatever you want to call it, it's Arizona. Arizona's beaten them 3 straight times. They beat them earlier this year in Toronto at Scotiabank 4-2. Vejmelka's playing well. Murray is confirmed. We don't know who Arizona's goalie is, but it's got to be him. It's such an interesting game because Arizona. If you watch the game Arizona against Colorado the other night, every time Colorado made a move to get back into that game, Arizona just pushed back. And I get it. Colorado was short some players, obviously with McKinnon, Landeskog, and others out. But this Arizona team is super impressive at home this year. They're beating some very good teams at home, as is Vejmelka in goal. Give me your thoughts on this one. Do we have a live dog here?
Yeah, I think we do. What do we know about Toronto? They play down to their competition. They've done that how many years? I remember earlier this year, they were like a $4 or $5 favorite against Arizona and they lost outright. We've seen it before out of Toronto. If you take a look at their schedule, They're playing really well right now. They're coming off of 2 wins at home against Tampa Bay and Philadelphia. They go in the shootout, or excuse the overtime game in St. Louis, a real tough game a couple nights ago. Now they're playing Arizona. And who do they have up next? The world champion Colorado Avalanche. Arizona's been good for me. I talked about this the other day. If you take a look at Arizona's schedule, and beginning of the season, they weren't playing at home. They were on the road. What did they play, 17 straight or something on the road? So their numbers aren't going to be bad. You got a young team on the road. The numbers are going to be really bad. But now this month, they played just as many home games as they've had road games. And when you take a look at the stats, goals plus and minus per 60 in 5-on-5, they're actually positive this month, 0.11. Now, obviously not as good as Toronto, the better team, 1.69. But you've got a live dog here in Arizona that has a lot of confidence playing in this this building, small building that the rest of the league does not play in. They don't know anything about it. So anytime a team comes in here, I'm looking to play Arizona. And if you look at Arizona, they played 11 games at home so far this year. Only twice have they lost by more than 1 goal. So they're in every game they're in. They beat Colorado. They beat the Kings. They did lose to Montreal, another team, but they were coming here much hungrier than what Toronto's going to be tonight. Same with Buffalo. They lost to Buffalo. But they beat the New York Islanders. They beat Philadelphia. They beat Boston here. I mean, it's easy to tell by looking at this. If a team comes in here that has something to prove and they think they can get a win, they're going to play a tight game. But if a team comes in here and they're looking to look past Arizona, it hasn't worked out. And so there's no way I'm on Toronto in this one. I think Arizona's got plenty of value in this game.
All right, I like it. We're on the same page there as well, too. Andy, you get the final word on this game. Give me your thoughts.
Well, the Coyotes' home games have had 7 or more goals in 5 out of 7 games, so I like the over 6 goals in this game. And if I like there to be goals, I'm going to try and pick a guy to have a point. And this is just a prop that's right up my alley. Michael Bunting to have a point. This play is 12-2 in his last 14 games. He started off the year really slow with his points, but he has really picked it up, especially over the last month. Picked up his shots on goal as well. It's helped him a lot. He has 9 goals this season. 5 have come after December 10th. So I like the over in this game. I like the trajectory that Michael Bunting is on. I love his shots, love his assists, and I love the price on this one. So Michael Bunting is certainly a play that I will be playing with my own bankroll to have a point tonight.
All right. Michael Bunting, we will see. He's having a very good season. He had a good one last year as well, too. The Leafs are having a phenomenal season, but the Leafs did break. I don't know if you guys know this. The Leafs did break the league's travel ban rules. They left early in the morning on the 26th to fly to St. Louis. They weren't supposed to do that. They were fined $100,000 by the league, which is nothing. When you're owned by Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, $100,000, you find then the seat cushions, or they just raise the price of beer. So when I go there and I'm paying $20 for a beer instead of $19, they'll get their $100,000 back somehow. But shame on the Leafs. Say maybe they should be fined some points for breaking that league rule. But with that said, one final game: Colorado Avalanche, LA Kings. Let's have a look at the numbers on this one. The Avs off that 6-3 loss to Arizona, the aforementioned Coyotes, minus 160. The LA Kings plus 135. The total here sits at 6, shade a little bit to the under. Bryan, I'm going to go to you. It looks like it's going to be quick and Georgiev. I'm leaning to the under here in this game. LA, I talked about how they turned that corner, I thought, with that big win in Boston, and they come home and they've gone 4-0-1 at home since. So now a 5-0-1 streak for them, and they're doing it with defense. They're playing extremely well defensively. And then you look at Colorado. If you draw a line through that 6-3 game against Arizona, they were 8-0-1, 8-0-1 their last 9 to the under. And it's because of who they're missing offensively. I'm leaning under. I don't know if they get the 6 goals here. I see another tight one. Under 6 for me. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at that somewhat myself, but I'm not looking for it for the game. I'm looking for it for the individual team. You talked about Colorado. This is Colorado scoring, going all the way back until the 3rd of the month, and they played Boston. They've scored 1, 3, 0, 1, 3, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3. And now they're playing the Kings, who are a team that's playing very well right now, 5-0-1. The only loss being that second of back-to-back game in Arizona, where they took them for granted. This is a team playing very well right now in the LA Kings. Money's come in a little bit on Colorado here. I do like the Kings, but what I think is the better bet is to play the Colorado team total under. So I'm deciding between that and the LA Kings. I like them both in this matchup, and I'll decide which number I can get that has a better payoff for us. But yeah, Colorado, as you mentioned, having a lot of trouble scoring right now, and they got to host Toronto coming up in a couple of days, so that'll be a big game for them also. So looking for the dog and the Colorado team total under here.
All right, Bryan Leonard, and don't forget he has a 5% play up at Wagertalk. Insane run. He doesn't release a lot of them over the last 5 years, but when he does, they are hitting at over, I think 66%. You can use 10 NHL, 10 NHL to get $10 off that play. Andy, I'm going to give you the last word on this game. Bryan was going through those goals, and it almost sounded like producer Dan testing. I'm hearing testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. I didn't hear him say anything higher than 3 when he was going through the Avalanche goals. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Well, if they want to make up that $100,000 fine, the next 50-50 you play in, then maybe they'll just make it like a 48-52.
Yeah.
It's like some of the domestic books when they have 50-50 contests. It's really 40. It's really a 40-40 because they just goes right to the book. Yeah, I'm with you guys on the under here. I think it's pretty safe here. I have a client play in this game actually, so my only lean, and this is not anything I would recommend to bet. It's just a lean. Kevin Fiala to not have a point. If you like the under, I'm trying to pick a guy to not have a point. He only has 1 point in the last 5 games. He's really cooled off, so I would take him. I do have a fun stat in this game. Mikko Rantanen has 125 shots on goal this season. 44 of them have come in the last 6 games. This guy's had 13 shots on goal, 10 shots on goal, 8 shots on goal. So he is just firing away at the goal. Now, I don't expect that to continue, but just fun that 35% of his shots on goal have come in the last 6 games. So fire away, Mikko.
Mikko Rantanen. I'm looking for those odds on Rantanen now because you've got me peaked on what the odds on this might be, and I'm just having a quick look at player shots, and when I do, Rantanen comes in at over 3.5 is minus 130. So that's not a bad price whatsoever. It's the juice tolerance that I always speak of. All right, guys, let's get into the best bet segment of the show. Bryan, let us know what you have up at Wagertalk. I think I know what you have up at Wagertalk. Let us know what you have and give us a show best bet.
Yeah, I've got the 5% up there right now. Still working on the rest of the hockey, as I mentioned, as well as NBA, which has been on fire, and college basketball, which is another successful season for us. So should be a pretty good sized card today, including the 5%. If you want more than that, just get the full day. I believe it's $39 for 1 day, or better yet, get the 3-day package. I think it's $59, something in that range. There's plenty of ways to get a better deal here than that. But if you just want the hockey, save the $10, 10 NHL. And I know how to spell NHL, so that works out pretty well for me. I am going to take a look at a game that we just spoke about a little while ago, and that was the Arizona game at home. Arizona's worked out very well for me lately. I think the +1.5, like I mentioned, only twice all season long at home is Arizona lost a game by more than 1 goal at home, and that was the 2 teams that were very hungry coming in, Buffalo and Montreal, 2 teams that aren't used to winning lately, and they gave them the great game. I don't think we're going to see that again tonight. Toronto comes in. I think they do take it for granted, even though they've lost, as you mentioned. They really struggled against Arizona. After the first time they lost to Arizona, they wanted to come out and prove that wrong. Didn't happen. Oh, that next time. No, didn't happen. So give me Arizona plus the 1.5 here. You're getting them at even money, plus 100. To me, that's one of the better bets on the board today.
All right, Bryan, Leonard, make sure you guys take advantage of that code. And yes, anytime Toronto goes, it's only a 5,000 seat arena. Anytime they go there, there's always some Leaf fans, and it's because Austin Matthews is from the Arizona area. So you're always going to get family and friends who come out and see him. Andy, in your angriest voice, give us a show best bet. It's an inside joke, but give us a winner.
Yeah, sure. Well, we have a best bet for Thursday night football that is up, and our big best bets in the NFL have just been on fire this season. Really, really proud of the 4 and 5% record that we have going there. We do have a 3% NHL bet, and I'm sure some people are like, "Why is Andy on this show?" Well, we we start off the year betting NHL props, and then towards the middle, we really kind of lay off and play it low key. But as we start to get closer to the playoffs, that's when the real value comes into it. The last 2 NHL seasons after February were plus 83 units just on NHL props. So once we get closer to the playoffs, it's really where we start ramping up our volume. And so I hope to join you guys a lot more often when we have a lot more plays. So my best bet, though, is going to be Seth Jones will not have a point, Carm. This makes me angry to think that he would have a point. The Blackhawks are the poor Blackhawks, 2-17 in their last 19 games. In those 17 losses, they're averaging 1.5 goals per game. So they're looking at less than 2 goals, which is, as we say in NHL, it's hard to have points if you don't have goals. Seth Jones only has 9 points in 23 games this season. He doesn't have a point in 4 straight games. This prop is 11-3 the last 14 games. Blues are not great on defense, but they should be good enough to handle Chicago and to hold them to under 2 goals. I do not think Seth Jones will have a point. That's my best bet.
All right, George is getting angry. I like it. All right, so and we are going to have Andy on more as the second half of the NHL season progresses and into the playoffs as well too. Always good to have some fresh eyes on the show, and he went as far as having eye surgery to make sure he had fresh eyes for this show. So we thank you for that, Andy, and we wish you the best of luck with your plays tonight. And Bryan, guys, I haven't done this all year as far as the show best bet. I did it last year a few times with some success, trying to find pretty much an even money parlay. I'm taking the New York Islanders and the St. Louis Blues in a money line parlay. This is a fade of the Columbus Blue Jackets and a fade of the Chicago Blackhawks. They should be looking right now at the World Juniors and seeing what Bedard is doing for Canada. This is a guy who's going to go number 1 in the draft. You want to tank your seasons. And I'm just going to fade these 2 teams a lot during the rest of this NHL season. But the Isles and the St. Louis Blues in a money line parlay, and you get that at minus 110. So it is minimal, and I like it. Some NFL and NHL plays up shortly after the show at Wagertalk, and you can get them over on my page. $39 gets you a 1-day all access. Guys, Andrew will be back in his regular chair tomorrow. I will be doing the 6 and 60 segment, of course. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you. Hit that like button, subscribe, and we're going to see you tomorrow morning at 11 a.m.
Have you checked out all the new handicappers at Wagertalk? If not, here's your chance. You can take 50% off your first daily or 3-day all-access purchase at Wagertalk using coupon code TRYWT. Our new roster of experts is 30 deep, covering sports from all around the world, giving you tons of options to choose from. All you have to do to redeem this offer is go to wagertalk.com, choose a handicapper of your choice, and use coupon code TRYWT at checkout, saving 50% on your first purchase.